Tourism Update is brought to you by
Double the fun at US Polo in Baywalk. One brand, two stores. Downstairs in the plaza, ladies, boys, girls and babies. Upstairs on the second level next to Access, men's. Available for all our polos, t-shirts, pants, shorts, shoes, slippers, bags and accessories. Duty and VAT-free prices available with proper travel documentation and identification. Double the fun at US Polo in Baywalk. One brand, two stores. New arrivals now in stock.
Hello and welcome to this week's Tourism Update. I'm Sharon Valmont, your host for the next 30 minutes. St. Lucia was recently named the 10th most dangerous cruise destination by noted blogger and maritime lawyer Jim Walker. Bloggers have become extremely popular for their candid and honest reviews of products and places. As they become increasingly more powerful with the ability to get their message to mass crowds in seconds, Tourism Update takes a closer look at the impacts of this modern PR tool.
St. Lucia's tourism product is focused primarily around a visitor experience that is authentic, and whenever there is information that purports to be negative, and given the speed at which information flows these days, it's always important that we try to negate such influences and to find ways for us to continue to project the positives about the visitor experience in St. Lucia.
I think bloggers have their place. They get information out to people who especially need it. There are pros and cons to what they say, because, for example, if they blow information out of perspective, it can actually prevent people from actually making, value decisions. They're popular because it's online, and I mean that's what's driving information getting out these days. And in most cases, I find they go into the locales, get the information and get it out to people. So it's basically what they commit their lives to. So people, depending on their credibility, people tend to follow what they have to say, whether it's true or not.
In the tourism industry, the travel blog has become a welcomed and feared discipline depending on the nature of the story. Resorts and destinations are regularly challenged to manage a story when the lone blogger can capture the event and publish it to millions in minutes. Once published, it becomes impossible to change the topic.
The negative impacts of such information flow is its impact on the perception. We again have a very aggressive marketing campaign in which we try to entice as many visitors to our shores as possible based on the experiences that they have, and where it can be found that experiences or perceptions are negative, they in turn are going to impact negatively on people's willingness to come to the destination. And so we have to ensure that we minimize on such negative perceptions and activities as possible.
We do have our challenges here, but when he's going to say we're among the top 10 most dangerous places for tourists to visit, it takes me aback when you compare us with all those locales around the world where it's vast, where it's more dangerous to visit. I don't think we should even measure in the top 10, maybe the top 50, but certainly not So I think it's a little, it's blown out of proportion basically, and I don't know what the empirical data you use to compile that.
It's hard to underestimate what a huge deal this is. For as long as journalism has existed, writers of whatever kind have had one route to readers. They needed an editor and a publisher. Blogging simply bypasses this ancient ritual and brings stories directly to the digital reader with dire consequences.
I think the people who live here would know the safe and unsafe places, but somebody coming off a cruise ship might not necessarily know. And what I find is a lot of times when the tourists come to St. Lucia, they want to go into the areas where they can, meet the people who are down to earth, the grassroots, the real soul of the place. And usually those would be what we call the ghettos, where they, meet people who are on a deeper level, and sometimes those situations pose challenges for them.
Some bloggers have developed loyal followers by focusing on specific subject areas, reaching millions of readers instantly and making a profit at the same time. That kind of exposure rivals the audiences of traditional news and opinion magazines. This is democratic journalism at its purest. Eventually, you can envision a world in which most successful writers will use this medium as a form of self-declared independence.
Whether you have correct or incorrect information within the click of a button, it's gone round. What is important, I think, is first and foremost to be consistently and constantly monitoring those blogs so that you pick up that information, and then to be in a position to refute very clearly where there are misconceptions, where there are actual errors and inaccurate information. And I think also what is also important is to use that very platform to get others who have more positive experiences to come out and speak about those. So in effect, you drown out some of the negatives by the variety and the level of positive messages that you can come across. We work very closely with the St. Lucia Tourist Board, who, as you would know, is the marketing and promotional arm. And therefore it is part of their responsibility to ensure that they consistently monitor what's going on those platforms and provide through their PR personnel accurate information. And also, as I said, the other stakeholders who are also part of this whole platform, they themselves have a major role to play in terms of communicating positive messages, and we collaborate with them on that as well.
We'll be right back with more tourism update right after this. Be sure to look out for our YouTube video of the week, airing daily after this program.
Granton's estate, located south of Dauphin River, comprises at least 8 indigenous people sites, including a burial site.
Welcome back. You're watching Tourism Update. Film production is a multi-million-dollar industry that can offer limitless opportunities for St. Lucia with respect to revenue, employment, and marketing exposure. But has this format been formally engaged by our marketing departments? Is there a specific plan or process in place for soliciting a movie, music video, or TV show? Do we adopt a passive approach to obtain an international film production? Tourism Update investigates.
Films being produced in St. Lucia, especially on the international scale, bring a lot of benefits to the island. There are a lot of skill sets that are required for successful production of a film. And so when these productions come to the island, they pretty much create jobs, a lot of jobs for persons, So you also get also a lot of training at the international level that they can get down here that they cannot get overseas. So when these productions come to the island, we get a chance to work with the best in the industry and therefore raise our level of production.
The island, however, has struggled with a formal organization capable of responding to inquiries on site locations and coordination of licenses. Consequently, filmmakers calling St. Lucia are very likely to have their calls go unanswered.
Without standards, you tend to not have. You may have a show being filmed that you don't want to be associated with. I don't need to go into details of there are so many things that happen out there that St. Lucia may not want to be associated with. So you can control these elements when you say if a production of a certain size being aired to a certain demographic, that we want to have a say as to what goes out that represents our country.
The Creative Handbook is the most comprehensive Los Angeles production resource guide available, designed to help producers find the many production-related vendors. The expectations of producers are that the location being investigated could assist with stage rentals, photographic labs, or industrial props. In fact, these are the very elements of the film business that make the various industries attractive for employment in various careers in St. Lucia.
At present, I don't think we are marketing ourselves as a filming destination. I think we can do a lot more, especially since we have some basic things in place that will really help us as a destination. Already we are one of the tourist meccas, all right? So that means we have boarding and lodging in place already. Okay, we also have some requisite skills. We have technological advancement when it comes to digital and the internet, etc., 4G networks, etc. We have some of these things in place, and these things are what production houses are thinking of before they come down to your country. Do you have these things? And so we have some of these things in place. We just you'll be able to use that and say, okay, we're going to use that and promote filmmaking. We have our landscape, our pristine, beautiful landscape. That is a natural background, a backdrop for filmmaking. And that's why things like The Bachelor and other things like Superman were shot right here, because we have what it takes. But we need to market the country and provide incentives for persons to come down and say, yes, this is where I want to shoot this film.
St. Lucia is proudly listed among the many destinations in the Caribbean that offer services to worldwide and world-class film producers. In fact, the Los Angeles Creative Handbook includes St. Lucia among the other locations in the Caribbean, including Barbados, US Virgin Islands, and Trinidad and Tobago, to name a few.
For years now, St. Lucia Jazz has been filmed and marketed with BET. Yes, they've given crumbs to the local stations for free PR, but generally that has been done in conjunction with Black Entertainment Television. I would imagine that 23 years later, in an effort to push the local industry, smaller contracts until we are able to film and produce it on an international level like them should be done. But there have not been teaching locals to fish. They have been given the fish to foreign companies. You may have the wrong signal sent internationally about your country, be it because of misinformation or misconception. Certainly, there's a very, very big danger in that. And you'll be so surprised what one bad program can do to your tourism sector. And case in point was Caribbean Cops, filmed here over a period of time with permission from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And it was an absolute disaster. Our policemen looked really bad on international television, and it's online. Anybody who doubts me can watch it. It could have been different, but again, because there are no controls, there are no standards, it wasn't.
The industry is broad in its requirements, from camera rentals, extras casting, set construction, and scenery backdrops. If only the destination can take advantage of the opportunity.
Don't go away. There's more on Tourism Update after the break.
The first bank was established in St. Lucia in 1837.
Stay tuned now for the weather.
The most precious things in life have an aura of unique, alluring beauty. From its extraordinary setting in the Vallée de Joux, the birthplace of high-complication watches, Jaeger-LeCoultre crafts objects so exquisite that they transcend time. A world of true sophistication, of a dedication to inventiveness that sets the standard in both technical content and artisanal beauty. This is the world of Jaeger-LeCoultre.
Here now is your weather forecast.
We invite the world to experience what we St. Lucians have known for centuries, to embrace our beautiful lands, to discover where we have come from, and to recognize how far we can go. To savor all the flavors of our fare and the colors of our culture, to know the passion of our people and the nature of our accomplishment, to see the aura of our light and to keep the memory of every moment in our hearts. We invite the world. The Visitor Channel. Everyone's watching.
Hello again, and thanks for joining us. You're watching Tourism Update.
On the 1st of October last year, we commenced the Tourism Enhancement Fund. To date, we have raised over $1 million in contribution towards this fund. And as we have indicated publicly, the funds are targeted for use for philanthropic endeavors, human resource development endeavors, and marketing, as well as product development. To date, we've made a number of contributions towards certain communities that have been devastated as a result of the Christmas Eve trough of 2013. Today marks another attempt for the fund to make a contribution towards families which have been displaced or are still suffering. In addition to the 100 food hampers that we have provided to NEMO earlier on this year, we would like to commit another 50 hampers to NEMO for their use, for their distribution rather, to families who are still displaced as a result of the trough. Now, one of the philosophies of the Tourism Enhancement Fund is that the funds are not simply committed to one project or the other. We use these funds in order to match or attract matching support from other private sector entities. And these 50 families will benefit from food hampers which have been funded through a collaborative endeavor with Jade Mountain and Chassenay Resorts. Through interaction with their guests, they have been able to pledge another $15,000 towards the relief efforts, and we have been using these funds towards procuring a lot of the food supplies you see here, which we will be making available to NEMO. Actually, even throughout that dreadful experience, I know a number of hotels were working directly with their employees who suffered through that experience. Now, in many of our hotels, we have got social clubs which are responsible for attending to these types of situations. So when you've got hospitality workers in need of support for their various domestic needs or shortfalls in their budgets, health issues, health challenges, educational support for their funding the education of their children, the hotels play an active ongoing role year-round towards ensuring that these needs are met. Albeit truthfully it's done on an independent basis. Each property focuses on the attention that it can provide or the support that it can provide to its employees. The Tourism Enhancement Fund gives us an excellent opportunity to expand that type of support along the length and breadth of the island and allow us to work with families or support families who may not be directly connected to tourism or whose families are not directly employed within the industry.
And that's it for this week's Tourism Update. See you next time.
The law that any yacht or any vessel that is at anchor, they must display their anchor lights.
It took a little bit of time to get all of the legislation through for everybody to get an understanding that it's a totally voluntary activity on the part of our clients. And what we do is we post it to their bill, and should they choose to keep the contribution in place, they can sign off to it. Or if they wish to have it deducted, then we take it off.
When tourists come in, they wouldn't just be walking through streets. They'd actually be seeing where they're going, how to get there and stuff like that. So I think that's a move in the right direction, that we actually, demarcating areas in St. Lucia.
Fishing was pretty slow for us. We managed to see some fish today, but the other 2 days we didn't see anything. Overall, I think the tournament was a success. Fishing could have been a little bit better for everybody, but with time, the tournament will get better with a little more experience.
The relationship between the agricultural sector and the tourism sector has to be symbiotic. It cannot be one that is parasitic, in the sense that the agricultural sector cannot think that it is going to be subsidized, as it were, by the tourism sector.
So I think when people come to St. Lucia, they come to get a St. Lucian experience, and our food definitely is really good food we produce in St. Lucia. So you find the tourists would want to really sample those foods.
Market where you have to reinvent yourself continuously. So yes, we have to continue working at it as a destination to remain on top.
Heritage is a really big part of our tourism here. We need a lot of support.
I'm glad to see that we've had this massive increase this year, and I've noticed that we're gaining traction. It's very important.
The private sector must show strength, direction, and leadership as well. These are the burdens that naturally fall to you as the leading sector of our economy.
As fathers, to understand, to instill in their kids unity, respect for others, because they are our future. And so if the foundation is not strong, then how can you expect the top to start?
We are not living in a world by ourselves. And then anywhere you go in the world, there are ways and means that persons get themselves together for them to go to the different destinations when they travel. Just like when I go to Miami, I have my own friend that come and pick me up, take me around.
You know, a lot of times the local public believe that they can't go into the hotels on the island. You know, there is a stigma that they're not allowed. Well, on the contrary, with Capella Marigo Bay, we invite the locals into the hotel.
The tourists, as they drive around and they see the animals, they see the garbage, and you know, it doesn't look very attractive, to say the least. I mean, St. Lucia is a beautiful, beautiful island.
Each of these boxes contains sufficient for a family of 4 for at least a week.
We invite the world to experience what we St. Lucians have known for centuries, to embrace our beautiful lands, to discover where we have come from, and to recognize how far we can go. To savor all the flavors of our fare and the colors of our culture, to know the passion of our people and the nature of our accomplishment, to see the aura of our light and to keep the memory of every moment in our hearts. We invite the world. The Visitor Channel. Everyone's watching.
Don't forget to visit our website and download our mobile app.
Look out for these programs airing on the Visitor Channel. Tourism Update airs from Monday to Saturday at 7:30 a.m., 12 noon and 6:30 p.m. and Sundays at 8 p.m. Catch Fifth Gear every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Saturdays at 8:30 p.m., Sundays at 10 a.m. and Mondays at 9:33 p.m. Don't miss Death in Paradise airing Sundays at 10 p.m. and Tuesdays at 9:33 p.m. Only on the Visitor Channel. Everyone's watching.
Visitor Channel, I cannot believe 20 years ago I was sitting down with the creator of the Visitor Channel after my trip to Hawaii, seeing on TV the system, the way the tourism was utilized, and the TV was matched to bring knowledge to the people, and say that would be a great idea for St. Lucia. And 20 years later, not only is on TV, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. People have been talking to me and say, oh, I see you on TV, oh, I saw your restaurant, oh, I saw this one. And it's been going on for quite a while now. So I've been very happy to be able to be part of this product. It's been bringing me a lot of people. It's been helping me also to keep motivation, to see what's happening, to be aware of certain things. What also people offer in St. Lucia. So this is a real good thing, I think, for the tourists and also for the local, because a lot of the local people are connected to the TV and Facebook and everything, and it's really been very good.
The news that I won the Face of St. Lucia 2010, but because I was not present at the ceremony because I was out of the island, and I was quite excited to be chosen out of 12 people here. To be honest, I never even dreamt of it, because when the interview was done in the first place, I just took it well. It's just a Face of St. Lucia that they're presenting on the television, and I just thought that was the end of it. But when I got the letter saying that I was chosen as a nominee to take part in the Faces of St. Lucia 2010, again, it said to me that there was more to it than just what I thought it was. So I was quite excited when that came around as well. That I got the award. Here, this is the award and the certificate that was presented to me on my arrival back in St. Lucia. And the number of prizes, in fact, I was quite excited when I saw the various prizes that I won. In fact, When I went home, my wife was even more excited than I was. And I think it will be greatly appreciated, especially to the people who sponsored the Visitors Channel and to present all those prizes, like Sandals, Regency, Golf and Spa, Coconut Bay in Beaufort, Harry Edwards Jewelry, and Diamond International, and so on. I do appreciate that. It will only help them to realize the importance of the industry and the work that we do as taxi drivers, and that they will take the work a little more serious, because as a taxi driver, we are ambassadors to St. Lucia, or for St. Lucia, and I take this thing serious enough, and I hope that my colleagues as well, seeing that I have done it, that they too can do it. Because at the end of the day, we have to emulate one another, and I do appreciate that. My kids a great opportunity to strive for excellence, because this is something I encourage at home a lot and tremendously. I do encourage my children to strive for excellence. Do not just settle for anything but the best. And I hope it doesn't only encourage them, but others who will be seeing this, and that they too will take the opportunity to strive for excellence.
We actually are now looking at who makes tourism happen here in St. Lucia. Who do our visitors actually meet? And that was the whole point of Faces. And we wanted to see and put a face to St. Lucia's tourism, and I think we were able to achieve that. We actually produced something in the area of almost 200 interviews throughout the 12 months of running Faces. The Face of the Year Awards was an opportunity to have our viewers respond to the show. You voted something to the tune of almost 2,000 hits. We want to thank.
It's really good. I'm enjoying St. Lucia. It's a beautiful island.